So I recently put up one of the sales training I was doing with one of the appointment setters for my fitness business. And it was extremely interesting because all of a sudden I've started to get hit up a lot more by people wanting appointment setting positions. And I was extremely shocked at the level of standard of people reaching out to me in regards to their approach. Not in a good way, okay? Now, I want to explain because I have a background learning sales from a man named Bruno Bairami. Okay, he's done extremely well in the closing industry, online closing. Now, the reason why I have a background with Bruno Bairami is because when I first started my fitness business, I wasn't a good communicator. So I had my fitness business and my service, and I knew how to coach people and train people, but I wasn't necessarily good at getting people on board and communicating the message the way that I wanted to. So from that point in time, I started actually hiring Bruno to work with me one-on-one. And Bruno actually brought up a lot of my communication skills to how I can be now today. So I have a lot of credit to Bruno, and he set a standard to me in regards to what you should be doing if you want to stand out in the sales industry, if you want to be doing great when it comes to closing and appointment setting. And I'm going to lay out to you some things that you want to keep into account if you want to stand out from the crowd and secure an appointment setting position or a closing position. Okay, because a lot of these applicants that I'm receiving are not impressive and they do not stand out, and it's not a good representation of the work that I would foresee you doing in my company, okay? Especially when it comes to fitness, you got to be well presented and you have to be confident. If you do not represent that, how do you expect people to get confidence? Naturally, when you think of fitness, it's a service that they want to be able to improve themselves so they can feel confident. But if they're talking to a representative who's not confident, what does that say then about the business? It says that the business isn't necessarily living up to the expectation that they want for themselves. So there's no reason for them to actually want to go ahead and continue that conversation. So it's incredibly important to be aware of this. So the first thing is awareness, first of all, okay? This is not something that you just take your phone out, you do a shitty selfie video, terrible fucking clothes, and you have a shitty background, everything looks messy, you're in your pajamas, and you're like, oh yeah, I really just want to blah, blah, blah. It's extremely hard to see you do well in the business or in any kind of position with this level of business immaturity, because that's essentially what it is. And I understand, I had it as well. There's essentially a learning lesson for everyone. I had to go through those embarrassing moments too. But I'm here to shortcut that for you and let you know the things that you should be avoiding to do, all right? And I've written a list here to get the point across. So, the first thing that we look for when it comes to an appointment setting position or even a closing position for any online business is, number one, we need confidence from you. Okay, confidence is extremely hard to teach because it involves personal development. Now, obviously you can get someone eventually to become more confident, but it's a lot harder to teach that. So if you're at a point to where you can communicate, if you can communicate clearly, I can't even say that word now, it's paradoxical. But if you're at a point to where you can communicate very clearly, you're clearly confident in yourself, and you can hold strong eye contact into the camera and present yourself, you've got great posture, it is extremely well received, especially in a sales position to where you're going to be directly handling people. So we look for confidence and that charisma, that social skill of being able to handle conversations is extremely important. So don't look at the camera and look down and, oh yeah, I'm talking low, quiet, can barely make the words out, you're not looking at the camera, you got shitty posture. All of these things you have to be extremely aware of. Posture yourself up, do a few rehearsals if you have to, okay? When you speak without the ums, the likes, the ahs, trying to use so many filler words. It's not something that is very attractive to hear when you are speaking. Hey, I'm just thinking, no one wants to listen to this, and especially if you're, let's say, doing an appointment setting position and you're speaking with someone who, let's say, doesn't necessarily know you, they're not going to have the patience to give you the time of the day. It's as simple as that. So if you have to slow your words down, slow your words down, but eliminate the filler words. Say nothing, just talk slower. Now, clean look. This one, it's so obvious to me, but people just don't do it. All right, because when I have, let's say I'm looking for someone to cover an appointment setting position, I will always ask for a Loom video or a video recording of why you feel like you're a good fit, because I want to see how you present yourself and how you communicate. If you do not speak in the confident and charismatic way, then it's going to be very hard for me to see a future in working with you, okay? Because those things are harder to teach. And also the look and how you're presenting yourself. If you want to stand out, especially when it comes to closing, when a camera is involved, let's say you're doing Zoom calls, it's incredibly important that you are visually aesthetic. Think about this business. It's a fitness business. Now, I'm not wearing a suit right now, but there's a few rules you can get away with a little bit of experience in the game, okay? Because I've got a whole lot of sub-communications happening right now that can justify certain things that I'm excusing, okay? But in the beginning, you want to play with every chance possible to win. So if you're gonna wear a suit, if you're gonna wear a polo, or gotta wear a button-up, do it. I have a guy working in the team right now, and his approach, I didn't even have to do any role plays and see how, there was no question of a doubt. I was like, yep, you're in. He rocked up in a nice polo, very great, standing tall to the camera, talking very clear. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you with your business. I wanna pump the numbers up. I'm gonna speak the passion with the clients, blah, 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 blah. He was on game, absolutely on game. I just knew he was gonna be a shark. But because he also was mindful enough and aware enough to, nice background, there's no shit there. It's even just a plain white background, just keep it simple. It's not in your bedroom with shitty lighting. Good lighting, clear background, polo, button up, suit, whatever you need to do, strong communication skills. Just make the visual look nice. Make it look nice. Now, another thing that I'm noticing is that if I was personally looking to work for a coach, I wouldn't be talking about what I wanted out of the job. Why would I do that? Why would I? It's selfish. Sure, you will get rewarded if you do a good job. That's the whole point of work, is that you get paid according to your performance. But when you were trying to get in a company, you should be talking about how you want the company to win, right? What I would love to do is share my experience with fitness and how I transformed myself, and be able to spread that belief and impact in this industry and communicate that with the people that you are handling with, so their impression left with you and your business is something completely different to probably what they're experiencing from other companies. And I want to make sure that I articulate with my communication and my belief to help pump up the amount of people coming through your door, so that you can expand your business and the vision that you have to create the impact that you want, so you can start focusing on just what you need to do, and I can take care of the rest. I'm gonna save you time and make you more money and spread your impact and your vision. Dude, someone speaking to me like that, they get it. They get it. So you gotta put your eyes, your head in the mind of a business owner, not your mind. Well, I'm just looking for something to improve my skills. Okay, so what you're telling me is you don't have the skills right now, and that when you speak to people who are interested in my business, you're gonna do a shit job, and then we're just gonna lose business. That's what you're telling me. So, common sense, come on. Come on guys, stand it. Use your brain. Common sense ain't so common nowadays. I get it, look, I ain't perfect too. I was doing all of these, like a lot of these mistakes in the beginning as well. I'm just shortcutting it for you. Don't forget that, all right? I'm here to help. All right? I was there, I'm not there anymore. Here's the thing, right? Let's say you're looking for an appointment setting position. I understand that you want to make a certain amount of money, but what you have to understand as well is that in life there's times to cash out and there's times to learn. If you're in the position to where you are not skillful enough to be getting a closing job and making $1 million a year with your sales job, then stop coming in from the mindset of, I need to cash out, I need to cash out. You need to build some skills, even if you're not getting paid so much. This is a big problem. People try to cash out too quick, and it's really screwing up your long-term money-making abilities. If I was you and I had not really much experience in the sales field, I would be working for free if I could, just to get experience. Because here's the thing, in this world, as long as you have good communication skills, you can do a lot. That will affect relationship dynamics, friendships, influence in your life, ability to negotiate better pay, better jobs. It should be skill building. If you don't have the skills, don't expect to be cashing out some money. So stop trying to get the money first before the skills. You need to get the skills, dedicate time to that, even if it's a shit pay or even no pay. Man, I would have done anything to work for free for some people that I respected back in the day, just so I could even be around them. Imagine you were working with someone who's got so much experience and you are working with them. Like, it's a cheat code. You've basically become their friend. You're around that energy. You're around their learnings. And you're completely shortcutting, but no, because it's not enough pay, I'm gonna sacrifice all of those potential learnings for a few couple bucks. You're playing small. Like, you gotta fix that perspective. There's a time for cashing out and there's a time for skill building. And if you're not in a position to be closing and doing above and beyond more than that, you need to be skill building. Part of that skill building, as an example with an appointment setting position, is that you become incredibly good with your voice. Because here's the thing, there's no visual of you, right? So when you call someone, let's say they're warm or they're cold, whatever, you have to learn to be able to keep them in the phone in those first initial seconds with good words. You got to be very particular with the words that you use, intonation, and then also tonality. There's a reason why when I talk in a particular way, I can gather attention. I can slow it down and really make you ponder about the current actions that you are taking right now. But then I can really start to build you up and build some incredible excitement around the endless potential and possibility to become the greatest, fullest potential and version of yourself, so that you can go ahead and influence the people around you and really make an impact. You see how I'm changing the tonality, the pacing of everything, and you're going on an emotional roller coaster. You're caught in, you're listening. This is what appointment setting teaches. So going back to that skills comment, sometimes you're not ready to be cashing out, man. You're not ready. You gotta learn the skills. The appointment setting is great for that. I feel like people nowadays, they get too impatient with this stuff. You gotta do some of the hard yakka sometimes. Now, another thing I look for is positive persistence, right? There are some people, they'll just chuck out applications. They don't try, and then they'll throw it out, and then it's just like in the dust, right? Because it's a shitty application. It's like, what the fuck is that? Yeah. And then there's no follow-up, there's no nothing. So if you can't follow me up, how are you gonna follow prospects up? Everything's a reflection. I look at you, I don't look at your resume. I look at you. If you can't follow me up, how are you going to follow prospects up? The people I even give time of day to are the ones who are approaching me differently. LinkedIn application. If they don't get a response from me, they shoot me, let's say, a Instagram DM or an email. They do the thinking and they send me a Loom video before I even have to ask, so they save me time. It's that positive persistence that's really a reflection of your proactivity. And responsivity as well. If you are not quick with your responses, you're taking half a day to a day to respond to me, what makes me think that you're gonna be fast when it comes to replying to people interested in working with the business? You gotta look at all of the dots, because that's all I do. I just connect the dots. It's all a reflection of just you. If you can't do it here when most people usually put more effort than usual because they're trying to apply for something, if you can't even do it on the first impression, damn, imagine when you're actually working properly and you're just going week by week. If you can't even do it in the beginning, what makes anyone think, any business owner think that you're gonna continue to keep any kind of persistence up or get better? So you gotta be quick and you gotta be positively persistent. And you gotta have some grit, okay? Now, a lot of the time is that you can go two ways when it comes to sales. You can choose the route of security or you can choose the route of performance. Now, let me explain the difference between the two. The security route is like, oh, well, I'm gonna get a base wage. I'm gonna have something very extremely reliable, but there's not gonna be as much of a compensation in regards to how far I can go upwards in the money that I make, okay? That's security based. The thing is, it doesn't incentivize someone, especially in the sales realm, to be overperforming, okay? The other route is the performance-based route, which is obviously if it's a lot more performance-based, which I intentionally do that with my business, simply because of the fact that I like to reward effort. I don't like complacency. If I just give you security, and say, hey, you're immediately going to get paid this, and you'll get some for the performance that you get, but it's really just the base wage is all you're going to get. It's like, dude, why are you going to work hard? What incentivizes you? You got to have grit. You got to be okay with a little bit of this. Because here's the thing, if you're right, everything else will be right. Okay, as long as the business that you're applying for has consistent business coming through, people interested, when times are right, that's when you go above and beyond and you make more money. When it's a little slower, you make a little less money. But then over time, it just averages out anyways. But as long as you're right, you're constantly prospecting and doing your thing, you got grit, you're gonna do just fine, because especially when it's a performance-based role, you get rewarded in accordance to your performance. So if you're naturally a hard worker, you will get paid more. You have less of a ceiling that's gonna cap you with a performance-based role than a security-based role. So if you are an overperformer, the performance-based structure works a lot better for you. You'll make more like that. It just seems that there's also some people out there who are not cut out for it. But here's the thing, sales is something that you need to have grit, because sales is like a pressure cooking system. I think that's the saying, but you gotta be willing to handle a little bit of pressure. You gotta be willing to work hard and hunt. That's the point. Those guys make more money, a lot more money. They just do better. So grit is extremely important. I do find that a 9-to-5 mentality doesn't work very well in sales. So you got to start changing the way that you think and be okay with a little bit of discomfort of non-security, because again, you got to trust yourself to be able to perform. As long as the business is getting enough prospects in, then you'll be okay. If anything, you'll do better than okay. You got to be willing to learn. You got to be open-minded, take ideas in, not get too cocky. Oh, it's just all about the money. And me specifically, I love when the business is very focused on value giving. Okay, so focusing actually on making impact, because, and I'll wrap the video up with this, is when you are focused in sales on actually serving and delivering value, you'll do better than everyone, because people, we can read intentions. If I'm going to you and I say, give me your money, be like, fuck you, dude. Like, I know you just want to take my money. But if I'm like, hey, let me help you. I see you've got this challenge. Let me help you. Naturally, you'll pay someone who's coming to you like that to then help. All right, so you end up winning anyways. So value giving intention, super, super important. And if you can do that when it comes to applying to a position or whatever it is, you're gonna do great. So all of these traits that I mentioned, I personally look for that in my business, and I know for a fact that all of the other business owners think the same way, because we are looking to build a team where everyone's in alignment with that mentality. Performance, value giving, saving time, being efficient, working hard, growing a fucking vision. Yeah? And I don't say this stuff lightheartedly. Obviously with the background, and shout out to Bruno Bairami, he taught me a lot, man. We're still very in touch to this day, and he's done amazing stuff with his business as well. So yeah, just don't, when you do these videos, when your submissions and your applications to these businesses, think twice before you send it. Listen to the stuff I said in this video, apply it. So it's so easy to stand out. It really, really is so easy. After teaching even sales, by the way, I forgot to mention this, I teach sales 1 time a week to Bruno's team as well. And it's so easy to stand out when you understand these concepts, which all of those guys do understand it through the teachings. You'll be surprised how many people outside of communities like that don't understand these basic yet very powerful concepts. So make sure to rewatch this video, really instill this information inside of you so it becomes natural. Like you can memorize all of this and start incorporating it and becoming that. You're gonna have a much easier time on your journey, and hopefully you're not one of those people who sends very whack applications.